Ladies and gentlemen, I need you all to hear me today, not just with your ears, but with your heart. See, when a woman loves a man, I'm talking real love now, not convenience, not comfort, not just chemistry, but soul deep love. She becomes something almost supernatural. She turns into a force that don't even make sense to the average man. And there are things, 6 things to be exact, that she'll only do when she's truly in love. When a woman truly loves a man, one of the most powerful things she does is pray for him. Now, this ain't just a little God watch over him type of prayer. No, I'm talking about something real, something deep, something that comes from her soul. She's not just asking for his safety on the road or for him to have a good day at work. She's down on her knees, maybe with tears in her eyes, calling out to God for that man's life, his purpose, his peace, and his strength. This type of prayer is different. It's intentional. It's specific. She prays for his mind because she knows how heavy life can get for a man, especially when trying to provide, trying to be strong, trying to carry everything on his shoulders. She sees him battle things he doesn't always talk about. And instead of nagging him about it, she takes it to God. She knows some fights are spiritual and she steps into that battlefield on his behalf. She prays for his decisions because she understands that a man who leads needs wisdom. She's not trying to control him, she's covering him. She wants him to be aligned with purpose. So she talks to God about the path he's walking. She wants him to succeed, not just in money or status, but in integrity and peace and character. And her prayers reflect that. She's asking for him to hear God clearly, to make choices that bless their future, to avoid traps from there. And when life gets hard, she's praying for his resilience. She sees when he's worn out, when the weight gets too heavy, when the world don't give him no credit. And even if he don't say it, she knows. And so she goes to God and says, Lord, give him strength he don't even know he has. Hold him up when he can't hold himself. Remind him who he is when he forgets. She doesn't just pray when things go wrong either. She prays when things are right. She thanks God for him. She expresses gratitude for the man he is and the man he's becoming. She praises God for his wins. She celebrates in secret what the world may never see. Because love like that sees the value even when it's still in progress. And she prays for his healing, physical, yes, but also emotional, spiritual, mental. She might not even know all the wounds he carries, but love gives her insight. She prays for the broken parts he hides from everyone else. She asks God to heal what she can't reach, to touch what her hands can't fix. That's a deep love right there. That's a spiritual connection. Now, this kind of prayer ain't flashy. It ain't performative. She's not praying so she can tell her friends, look what I'm doing for him. She's praying behind closed doors when nobody sees, because that's when it counts. When it's just her and God and the man she loves sitting heavy on her heart. You have to understand this isn't something she does for just anybody. A woman might support you, she might be kind to you, she might even help you out in tough times. But this kind of prayer, that's sacred. That's reserved for the man she's truly given her heart to. A man she sees as more than just her boyfriend, her husband, her partner. She sees him as her covering, her future, her king. And sometimes she prays even when she's hurt, even when he's made mistakes, even when she's disappointed. Because love like that doesn't quit just because things get hard. She might be crying while she's praying, not because she's weak, but because love makes you fight for someone in the spirit before you ever say a word out loud. She's battling for him, for his growth, for their bond. There's power in a woman's prayer. There's something sacred about a woman lifting up the man she loves in the quiet moments, in the midnight hours, in the places where only God hears. That's how serious it is for her. That's how much she cares. She knows she can't always change the world around him, but she can talk to the one who can. So she does, over and over again, whether he knows it or not, whether he thanks her or not, whether he even believes in prayer or not. She does it anyway, because that's what love looks like when it goes beyond the surface. When a woman falls in love, truly and deeply, something changes in her. She softens. And I'm not talking about weakness or submission. This ain't about her losing her strength. This is about a shift that happens when her heart feels safe enough to open all the way. See, women walk through this world guarded. They have to be. They've been through disappointments. They've carried heartbreak. They've had to protect themselves from people who didn't know how to handle their heart right. So they put up walls. They stay strong. They keep things tight. Not because they want to, but because they've learned they need to. But when she meets a man who touches her soul differently, who sees her not just her body, not just her achievements, but her essence, something starts to melt. That cold layer she had to wear just to survive, it begins to fade. That tough exterior that helped her navigate a world full of expectations and judgment, it starts to crack, just a little, when he speaks to her with patience and listens without judgment. A woman only softens for a man when her spirit says he's different. Now understand, this softening doesn't mean she becomes less. It doesn't mean she stops being ambitious or strong. It means she allows a version of herself to come forward that not everybody gets to see. She shows more emotion. She lets down her guard. She expresses her fears and dreams with honesty instead of filtering them through strength. She gives you access to the parts of her that were never up for discussion before. She doesn't do this for just anyone. A woman can be in relationships and still be hard. She can go through the motions, laugh at the right times, share the right things, but not really let someone in. But for the man she loves, she'll let herself be seen. All of her. And that takes courage. That takes trust. That takes love. She'll soften in the way she speaks to you. Her tone changes. Not because she's pretending to be sweet, but because your presence brings her peace. She's not walking on eggshells. She's not trying to impress you. She's just relaxed in who she is when she's around you. And that softness shows up in the way she touches you, the way she comforts you, the way she looks at you when she knows you're struggling, even if you ain't said a word about it. When a woman softens, it's also in her silence. She doesn't always have to talk because being with you feels like home. She feels heard even without saying much. That's love in its quietest, most powerful form. And if a woman has been hardened by life, love, or experience, that softness doesn't come easy. It's a decision. It's a response to the energy you bring. It's her saying, without saying, I trust you with the parts of me I've had to protect. She starts to show affection in new ways. She's more nurturing, more present, not out of duty, but out of desire. She wants to care for you. She wants to feed your soul, not just your body. She wants to build you up, not because you asked her to, but because she believes in you and wants to be part of your journey. That nurturing side of her gets activated when she's in love. It's not performative, it's instinctual. And it's not just how she treats you. It's how she carries herself around you. She might talk about her dreams more freely. She might cry when she's overwhelmed instead of holding it all in. She might admit she's scared or unsure, and that's a big deal. Because to be soft is to be vulnerable, and vulnerability is the highest form of trust a woman can offer a man. She starts asking questions she didn't before. How are you feeling? Are you okay? What do you need from me? That's her saying, I'm invested in your well-being. She's making space in her heart for you. She wants to understand you, support you, grow with you. And she starts showing grace. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you're struggling to communicate. Maybe you're trying but falling short, and she doesn't shut down. She leans in. That softness lets her forgive faster, communicate clearer, and love deeper. This transformation isn't forced. It's organic. It happens when a woman's heart feels protected, when her soul feels seen, when her spirit feels supported. She's not soft because you told her to be. She's soft because she chooses to be. Because love made her feel safe enough to put down her armor and just be. When a woman truly loves a man, she starts to build around him. Not in a way that loses her sense of self, but in a way that expands who she is to include him in the picture. She starts to see her future not just as her own, but as something shared, something co-created, something that includes his dreams right alongside hers. This is not about dependency, it's about intentional connection. She doesn't stop dreaming, she just starts dreaming with him in mind. Her plans begin to reflect his presence. Instead of saying, I'm going to move here, or I want to do this alone, she starts saying, we more often than me. It's a subtle shift at first, but it's real. It shows up when she's making decisions about work, about family, about time. She starts asking herself, how does this affect us? She's thinking about both lives as one unit now. And that's not something she does lightly. That's a sign of deep love. She builds emotionally too. She becomes a safe space for him. She wants to be the place he comes to rest, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She builds an environment around him where he doesn't have to perform, where he can put down the pressure, where he can be vulnerable without feeling weak. That kind of emotional structure takes strength to create. It means listening when he's not saying much. It means recognizing when he's off, even if he says he's fine. It means learning how to support him in the way he needs, not just in the way she wants to give. And she builds through encouragement. When a woman loves a man, she becomes his loudest cheerleader and his quietest strength. She knows how to speak life into him, how to remind him of who he is, especially when the world makes him forget. She doesn't just praise him when he wins, she builds him up when he's struggling. She reminds him of his worth when he feels worthless. She points to his potential even when he's stuck in the present. Her love builds him from the inside out. She also starts to include him in her personal goals. Maybe she used to have a 5-year plan that only had her name on it, but now she starts imagining how he fits into that timeline. She's not erasing herself, she's just weaving him into her life because she sees him as part of her future. She might ask for his opinion more. She starts sharing ideas, talking through moves, discussing options with him before she acts. That's not because she's unsure, it's because she values what he thinks, because she wants him involved. She starts making practical changes too. The way she organizes her space, her schedule, even her habits can shift. Maybe she's never cooked on Sundays before, but now she's meal prepping for 2. Maybe she never thought about savings the same way, but now she's budgeting with us in mind. She makes room for him in her world, not just physically, but mentally. She's preparing a life that holds both of them, not just out of necessity, but out of love. This type of building is quiet. It's not about grand gestures or public declarations. It's in the way she picks up his favorite things from the store without asking. It's in the way she remembers what matters to him and follows through. It's in the way she's planning vacations that she knows he'll enjoy, not just what she wants. It's thoughtful. It's intentional. It's love showing up in the everyday choices. She builds protection too, not just of his body, but of his dreams. If he shares something he's passionate about, she doesn't laugh it off or dismiss it. She guards that idea, waters it with encouragement, speaks on it like it's already real. She becomes a partner in his purpose. She wants to see him win, not because it benefits her directly, but because his joy adds to her own. She starts thinking in terms of legacy. She's not just thinking about today, she's thinking about what they can build together. What kind of life they can leave behind, what kind of example they can set, what kind of home they can create, not just physically, but spiritually. She wants to build something that lasts, something that matters, something they both can be proud of. She builds consistency, shows up. Not just when it's fun, not just when it's easy, but even when things get difficult. Even when he's not his best. Even when the world is heavy, she's still there, still building, still loving, because she sees value in what they're creating together. Love, for her, is not just a feeling, it's a foundation. One brick at a time, one moment at a time. She builds around him, with him, and for the future they both want to live in. When a woman truly loves a man, she will tolerate things that she would never accept from anyone else. This isn't about lowering her standards or losing her self-worth. It's about patience, about commitment, about the deep understanding that love isn't always pretty and people aren't always perfect. A woman in love sees not only who a man is, but who he can become, and that vision gives her the strength to stay through things she'd normally walk away from. She knows he's flawed. She knows he has habits that annoy her, moods that confuse her, and moments where he doesn't show up the way she needs him to. And still, she chooses him. Not because she's blind to the issues, but because she believes in something deeper. She believes that what they have is worth fighting for, so she does, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. She's not stupid, and she's not weak. She's not just putting up with bad behavior for the sake of having someone around. She's navigating the difference between a man who's growing and a man who's stagnant. If she sees effort, if she sees a desire to improve, if she sees heart behind the struggle, she'll stay in the ring with him. She'll push through the rough patches, the communication breakdowns, the emotional gaps, not because it's easy, but because she loves him that much. She knows he's flawed. She knows he has habits that annoy her, moods that confuse her, and moments where he doesn't show up the way she needs him to. And still she chooses him, not because she's blind to the issues, but because she believes in something deeper. She believes that what they have is worth fighting for, so she does. Even when it's hard, even when it hurts, she's not stupid, and she's not weak. She's not just putting up with bad behavior for the sake of having someone around. She's navigating the difference between a man who's growing and a man who's stagnant. If she sees effort, if she sees a desire to improve, if she sees heart behind the struggle, she'll stay in the ring with him. She'll push through the rough patches, the communication breakdowns, the emotional gaps, not because it's easy, but because she loves him that much. She learns to pick her battles. She doesn't react to every mistake or every misstep. She lets some things slide, not because she doesn't care, but because she's learned that love sometimes means choosing peace over pride. She understands that not every disagreement needs to turn into a war. She learns to see the man beneath the moment, and she gives him room to breathe, room to grow, room to fail and get back up again. And she forgives. Not blindly, not endlessly, but intentionally. She forgives the late replies, the misunderstandings, the times he wasn't as present as he should have been. She forgives the moments he pulled away when he should have leaned in, the moments he shut down instead of opening up. She forgives not because it didn't hurt, but because her love is rooted in grace. That grace doesn't mean she'll tolerate disrespect or betrayal, but it does mean she won't hold every mistake over his head. She waits, sometimes longer than she wants to. She waits for him to catch up emotionally, to articulate how he feels, to understand how to love her the way she needs. She waits because she knows that timing in relationships matters, and that some lessons take time. She waits with frustration, with hope, with patience stretched thin, but she waits because her heart sees a future with him that's bigger than the present struggle. She gives chances, maybe more than he deserves, maybe more than she told her friends she ever would. But when a woman loves, she sees through the lens of potential. She sees what the relationship could be if both of them keep trying. She doesn't just walk away when things get uncomfortable. She doesn't run at the first sign of conflict. She stays, and she works, and she tries to hold everything together, even when it feels like it's falling apart. But don't mistake this for passivity. She's not just accepting pain for the sake of it. She's evaluating constantly. She's checking her spirit. She's talking to herself late at night, asking if it's still worth it. She's reflecting, journaling, praying, trying to find that line between loyalty and self-neglect. And as long as her heart tells her there's still something real to fight for, she stays in it. She endures judgment too sometimes from her own circle. Friends and family might not understand why she hasn't walked away yet. They see the struggle, but they don't see the quiet conversations, the small changes, the moments of growth that keep her holding on. They don't feel the love she feels, the connection that can't always be explained. And so she learns to carry some of that burden in silence. She talks about his character, not just his accomplishments. She brags about how hard he works, how he handles pressure, how he stays loyal, how he shows up for the people he cares about. It might not be flashy. He might not be the most successful man in the room. He might not have a title or a platform, but to her, he's enough. And when she speaks on him, it's with pride, with respect, with admiration. She brings him up in conversations because she wants people to know what kind of man she's standing beside. Not in a way that overshadows herself, but in a way that honors him. If someone says something negative, she doesn't jump in with complaints. She steps up with praise. She says, he's working on that, or you should see how he handled this, or I'm proud of the way he's growing. Her love protects his image, even when he's not there to defend himself. She brags to him too, not just about him. She'll look him in the eyes and say, you're doing a good job, or I'm so proud of you, or I believe in you. Those words matter more than any public applause, because when a man hears that from the woman he loves, it hits different. It builds him, it fuels him, it reminds him that he doesn't have to be perfect to be appreciated. And she doesn't only brag about the good times. Even when things are tough, she'll say he's trying, or he's figuring it out, or I trust him to get through this. That kind of belief is rare. It's powerful. It's healing. It's not about ignoring flaws, it's about choosing to highlight progress over perfection. She knows that what she speaks into him can shape how he sees himself, so she chooses her words carefully. She brags to him too, not just about him. She'll look him in the eyes and say, you're doing a good job, or I'm so proud of you, or I believe in you. Those words matter more than any public applause, because when a man hears that from the woman he loves, it hits different. It builds him, it fuels him, it reminds him that he doesn't have to be perfect to be appreciated. And she doesn't only brag about the good times. Even when things are tough, she'll say he's trying, or he's figuring it out, or I trust him to get through this. That kind of belief is rare. It's powerful. It's healing. It's not about ignoring flaws, it's about choosing to highlight progress over perfection. She knows that what she speaks into him can shape how he sees himself, so she chooses her words carefully. She understands that her words hold weight. They can crush or they can carry, and she chooses to carry. She knows that when she speaks with pride, with kindness, with admiration, it makes him walk a little taller. It gives him confidence to face the world, and in private, those same words become the wind beneath his wings. Because when a woman loves you deeply, her voice becomes your home, your armor, your reason to keep pushing. When a woman loves a man, she adjusts her boundaries not to lose herself, but to make space for the relationship to grow. Love stretches her in ways she didn't expect, in ways she wouldn't allow for just anybody. She's not abandoning her standards or letting herself get walked over, but she's learning that love requires flexibility. Love asks for patience. Love demands sacrifice, not of identity, but of selfishness. And when her heart is truly invested, she's willing to bend without breaking. There are parts of her life she used to protect fiercely. Her time, her space, her routines, she used to guard those things with everything she had. Because she had to. Because she learned how to survive on her own. But now she's opening the door a little wider. She's making room for another person. She's letting him into her schedule, into her comfort zones, into her plans. That takes a kind of strength only love can unlock. She starts communicating differently. Maybe she used to shut down when she was upset, or walk away when things got tense. But with him, she's trying. She's pushing past her old habits to show up more honestly, more gently, more intentionally. Not because it's easy, but because she sees the value in connection over control. She's learning how to express herself without just reacting. She's not just defending herself anymore, she's protecting the relationship too. There are parts of her life she used to protect fiercely. Her time, her space, her routines, she used to guard those things with everything she had. Because she had to. Because she learned how to survive on her own. But now she's opening the door a little wider. She's making room for another person. She's letting him into her schedule, into her comfort zones, into her plans. That takes a kind of strength only love can unlock. She starts communicating differently. Maybe she used to shut down when she was upset, or walk away when things got tense. But with him, she's trying. She's pushing past her old habits to show up more honestly, more gently, more intentionally. Not because it's easy, but because she sees the value in connection over control. She's learning how to express herself without just reacting. She's not just defending herself anymore, she's protecting the relationship too. Her boundaries around independence shift as well. She's still her own person, but now she's sharing the load. She doesn't feel the need to do everything by herself anymore. She asks for help, not out of weakness, but out of trust. She leans on him when she's tired. She lets him in when she's unsure. She doesn't carry every burden alone. That's a big deal for a woman who's used to doing everything herself. It's not that she can't, It's that she doesn't have to anymore. She starts thinking about how her words and actions affect someone else. If she used to be quick to snap, now she pauses. If she used to disappear when things got hard, now she stays present. That's growth, and it comes from love. Because when you truly care about someone, you don't just do what feels good, you do what brings peace, what brings unity. She's adjusting her boundaries not to shrink herself, but to expand the space they both live in. She makes room for his habits, his quirks, his needs. She may be used to sleeping a certain way, eating a certain way, living a certain way, but now she adjusts. Maybe she compromises on what movie to watch, what time to wake up, what pace to move through life. These aren't big sacrifices to the outside world, but to her, they're significant. They're signs that she's not just living for herself anymore. She's co-creating a life with someone she truly cares for. Her boundaries around forgiveness evolve too. She used to cut people off fast, draw a line, and never look back. But now with him, she pauses, she gives grace, she listens longer, she tries to understand before she walks away. That doesn't mean she's tolerating disrespect, it means she's invested enough to work through the hard parts. She values what they have enough to protect it, even when it's messy. She also shifts her boundaries around time. She makes time for him, even when life is full. She carves out space in her day, not because she has to, but because she wants to. She chooses him daily in 100 small ways that add up. And when she adjusts her life to include someone else like that, it's a clear sign that her love is deep, present, and committed. She's learning balance. She's not losing herself, but she's allowing herself to grow in the context of love. She's finding ways to remain whole while being part of something bigger than herself. Her boundaries don't disappear, they evolve. They become more rooted in understanding, in trust, in mutual respect. She's not giving up control, she's building connection. She's not letting go of her strength, she's using it in a new way. For the man she loves, she chooses to stretch, to grow, to adjust because she sees a future worth adjusting for. When a woman truly loves a man, she includes him in her future. She doesn't just talk about what's happening today or what went wrong yesterday. She talks about what's coming. She lets him know he's not just a moment in her life. He's part of her plan. That's a powerful gesture because women don't build futures with just anyone. She sees him not just as who he is now, but as someone she can build with, grow with, walk through seasons with. She starts using words like we, us are not just out of habit, but out of hope. Hope that what they have is strong enough to last, to evolve, to carry both of them forward into something bigger than where they started. She'll bring him into her vision. If she's dreaming about a new career, she talks about how he fits into that journey. If she wants to move to a new city one day, she asks him how he feels about it. If she thinks about starting a family or buying a home, his name is naturally part of the conversation. She's not planning solo anymore, she's planning with partnership in mind. And that shift in mindset, that inclusion, that emotional invitation to be part of something long-term is one of the clearest signs a woman is in love. She considers how her decisions will affect him. Before she makes a big move, takes a new opportunity, or even changes something about her lifestyle, she thinks about how it might impact their relationship. That doesn't mean she loses her independence. It means she values his presence in her life enough to weigh it alongside her own goals. She doesn't just act for herself anymore, she acts with us in mind, and that kind of consideration is born out of real love. She starts introducing him more intentionally to the people who matter. Not just a casual meet and greet with friends, but meaningful time with family. With her inner circle, with the people who know her deeply, because she wants them to see who she's chosen, and she wants them to feel included in the life she's building. That inclusion isn't just about validation, it's about making him part of her world, blending lives in a way that feels real and rooted. She brings up future goals and listens carefully to his. She doesn't just talk, she wants to hear what he sees for himself 5 or 10 years from now. She wants to understand his dreams, his fears, his roadmaps. And when she hears them, she doesn't just nod, she stores them. She tucks them into her heart like pieces of a puzzle they're solving together. She asks how she can support him, how they can align, how they can make each other better through the process. She might start saving differently, managing time differently, investing energy into things that build stability, growth, and progress for both of them. Her priorities shift slightly. It's no longer about what she wants in the moment, it's about what they can create together. She's thinking legacy, she's thinking stability, she's thinking commitment. And every little step she takes is a reflection of how much she believes in their bond. She also starts to envision life's challenges with him by her side. Not just the easy stuff, not just the vacations and celebrations, but the hard parts too, the loss, the struggle, the unexpected. And if she can picture herself leaning on him in those moments, standing beside him in the storms, it means she trusts him on a level that's deeper than surface love. She's not just thinking of romance, she's thinking of partnership, of being a team when life gets real. She talks about kids if that's something on her heart, or building a home, or how she wants to grow spiritually, emotionally, financially with someone. And when she includes him in those desires, it's because she sees him as capable of walking that journey. She's not just playing house. She's not just fantasizing. She's trying to align her life with someone who fits the kind of love and life she wants to build. She makes room for him in her habits, in her traditions, in her sacred spaces. Maybe it's something as simple as wanting him there on holidays or inviting him to share in her rituals and routines. Maybe it's asking his opinion when she's making a change or inviting him into her prayers and plans. She makes it clear that this isn't temporary. This isn't just a passing season. She's investing for the long run. She starts talking about the kind of future they can design together, not just fall into. Because she knows love isn't something that happens to you, it's something you build. Brick by brick, decision by decision. And when a woman loves a man deeply, she starts shaping her whole life with his presence in mind. Not because she needs him to complete her, but because she believes they can go farther together than they ever could alone.